Before humans conquered the harshest frozen lands, before science understood life in prolonged freezing conditions, there already existed a world where nature decided who survived. Stretching across the icy taiga forests of Siberia, among dark woodlands and endless winter, lies the refuge of brutal predators, silent, patient, and always lurking in the shadows. A world of ice, instinct, and invisible fear, Siberia. Welcome to wild Siberia, the refuge of the most brutal predators. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to give us more motivation to keep creating quality content. Don't forget to comment below and tell us what you thought of the video, and let us know where you're watching from so we can discuss it together. Let's begin. Before humans conquered the harshest frozen lands, before science understood life in prolonged freezing conditions, there already existed a world where nature decided who survived. Stretching across the icy taiga forests of Siberia, among dark woodlands and endless winter, lies the refuge of brutal predators, silent, patient, and always lurking in the shadows. A world of ice, instinct, and invisible fear, Siberia. Welcome to wild Siberia, the refuge of the most brutal predators. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to give us more motivation to keep creating quality content. Don't forget to comment below and tell us what you thought of the video, and let us know where you're watching from so we can discuss it together. Let's begin. Snowstorms roar through the taiga forest, dragging shards of cutting ice and burying any trace on the ground. There are no warm sunbeams here, only the icy wind and an infinite white of snow and ice. But make no mistake, the Siberian winter is not just cold. It is one of the most devastating challenges on the planet. The permafrost extends without end. Temperatures can plummet to dozens of degrees below zero, while rivers freeze and skin-cutting winds lash the silent forests. This is the season in which life is pushed to the limit, and also the fiercest hunting season of the year. In the midst of this chaos of snow and wind, an imposing figure emerges, the Siberian tiger, the largest and most fearsome predator of the taiga, also known as the Amur tiger. It is the largest feline in the world. An adult male can measure up to 3.3 meters in length, weigh more than 300 kilos, and reach 1.1 meters in height at the shoulders. Its thick fur of yellowish-orange tones with black stripes not only provides perfect camouflage in the snow-covered forest environment, but also protects it from extreme cold. When the storm rages, its fur becomes denser to retain heat and resist the lethal cold. However, what truly makes the Siberian taiga terrifying is its prodigious muscular system and powerful jaws. These jaws generate a bite force of up to 1,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the bones of its prey in a single attack. The Siberian taiga is not only powerful, but also intelligent and patient, as if blessed by creation itself. A male's territory can span up to 1,000 square kilometers, including dense jungles, gorges, and frozen plains. This vast kingdom is his absolute domain, controlled through urine markings and scratches on trees to warn any intruder. Deep in the frozen taiga, where the cold suffocates all forms of life, a Siberian deer struggles to scrape through the thick snow looking for food in a small valley. Weighing about 200 kilos, it is the ideal prey for a hungry tiger. But the deer is not alone in this fight for life. The tiger moves slowly, like a ghost through the white mist. His yellow eyes glow, fixed on the target, ready to pounce at any moment. At the perfect distance, the tiger stops. His body remains motionless like a block of ice. With absolute patience, he waits. Suddenly, the Siberian tiger launches into the attack at a speed of up to 60 kilometers per hour. He pursues his prey through the snowy forest, jumping over slippery rocks and fallen logs, with each step sinking into the dense snow. With a fatal bite, the deer falls almost instantly. No matter how strong it is, the deer cannot compete with the overwhelming power of the great cat. The tiger drags the carcass to a hidden corner to avoid the gaze of scavengers like the brown bear or wolves. With canines over 7 centimeters long, the feast begins. A large deer can provide him with energy for several days, but the tiger never stays too long in one place. Always alert, always on the move. He maintains his status as the undisputed king of the taiga. The Siberian tiger is not only a master on land, but also an excellent swimmer. Even in icy waters, any animal that crosses his territory faces the deadliest threat. As night falls and the cold intensifies, the tiger raises his head, his yellow eyes staring into the white void. In the Siberian winter, there is no room for error. There is only the survivor or the extinguished. And in this implacable world, he remains the absolute king. The frozen forests, where thick layers of snow completely cover the ground, transform every trace into nothingness. The winter in Siberia spares no one. It begins to test every living being from November and lasts until April. daylight lasts barely a few hours, while the rest is dominated by an icy darkness that envelops everything. Life and death intertwine, leaving indelible traces of rigor and resistance on the earth. It is as if the Creator were testing the ultimate limit of life on this land. Large animals, such as the moose and the muskox, face not only extreme cold, but also food scarcity and physical exhaustion. The moose, the largest herbivore in this region, struggles every day against the deep snow that imprisons it in an effort to survive. Interminable snowstorms make the search for food almost impossible. They weaken from hunger. Winter has become a nightmare for large mammals. The muskox defies the snow by lowering its head and tossing it into the air to search for small bushes of grass buried under the ice. However, even with their power, these giants cannot completely resist the cruelty of nature. In years of heavy snowfall, known as surd, the mortality rate of the muskox can reach 25 to 30% in some groups. The winter of 1984 to 1985 was a real nightmare for muskoxen in time here. That event pushed them dangerously to the brink of extinction. In the midst of such extreme conditions, the grey wolf ratifies its position as a master of the hunt and the leader who coordinates the packs that find themselves on the brink of starvation. The alpha male silently guides the group in patrolling their frozen territory. Their steps are heavier than ever. 3 days have passed since their last meal. They survive solely on their accumulated fat reserves. Hunger begins to wear down the entire pack. However, the alpha's eyes, glowing in the gloom, keep searching for any sign of life in this vast white desert. Their territory extends from the taiga in the south to the tundra near the Lena River, spanning more than 1,000 square kilometers, an area equivalent to twice the size of New York City. It is an immense domain, but winter turns every corner into a challenge. The reindeer, their main food source, have migrated south, seeking areas with less snow where they can feed. To survive, the pack must venture beyond its usual borders. The cold of the Siberian winter is unlike anywhere else on the planet. With the sun appearing only a few hours a day and temperatures at critical levels, the layer of snow of more than a meter is a challenge for both prey and hunter. Like the grey wolf, whose double coat acts as a thermal coat, its body integrates perfectly with the environment. Weighing 60 kilograms, standing nearly 90 centimeters tall and more than 1.5 meters long, the grey wolf is designed to face extreme cold. On this patrol, the pack has covered nearly 50 kilometers, twice the usual distance, consuming a huge amount of energy with no guarantee of success. An adult wolf needs to consume between 3 and 5 kilograms of meat daily to maintain its vigor. But the cold is not the only enemy. Hunger affects all members equally. At the end of the formation, a young wolf struggles to keep up the pace. It is its first winter, a cruel test that not all pups manage to overcome. The mortality rate of young wolves in their first winter reaches 50%, which reinforces the determination of the alpha male. The Siberian pack enters the most dangerous phase of the winter, with food scarce and resources at the limit. Each prey represents the line between life and death. Their paws advance firmly over the snow thanks to their wide, fur-covered pads that distribute weight and reduce the risk of sinking. The crunch of snow under their steps reminds them that time is not on their side. Following closely behind the alpha is the beta, always ready to support and coordinate the others. The alpha stops on a snow mound. His sense of smell has detected something. The faint scent of a reindeer herd floats in the air, a weak but promising signal. He turns his head toward the group, conveying a silent message. A tactic begins to form. It is not just strength, but this perfect order seems to be a gift that the Creator has bestowed upon them. The pack heads toward the Stanovoy Mountains. The tracks of the reindeer appear blurred in the snow. They have just passed through here. Instantly, the wolves change their posture, advancing cautiously and hiding in the shadows. The scent of the reindeer intensifies, awakening the instinct of the entire group. Their eyes glow like small fires in the night. The brutality of Siberia does not allow for hasty movements. Each hunt requires more tactics than brute force. They need unity and coordination. A wolf pack is only successful in approximately 20 to 25% of its hunting attempts. A group of more than 20 reindeer move slowly through a valley where deep snow acts as a natural trap. The persistence of the wolves stalks the prey. They were born to pursue at speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour. The alpha launches first, heading toward the reindeer and forcing them to scatter in panic. They take turns in the pursuit to avoid exhaustion. Finally, the alpha jumps and brings down the prey in a final moment of desperation. With a bite force of up to 400 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the bones of large prey, the hunt ends. Once completed, the pups are allowed to approach the carcass. They lean in to taste small pieces of meat, not by hierarchy, but as an essential lesson in survival. God has given them strength and resistance, but solidarity and cooperation are the true keys to success. After filling themselves, the wolves raise their heads and howl in unison. The howl pierces the night, being heard up to the edge of the taiga 10 kilometers away, where other packs can hear it. It is a declaration of victory, an affirmation of territory, and a reminder that life persists no matter how inclement nature may be. The Siberian winter is the most difficult challenge for all living beings. But for the grey wolf, the supreme master of survival, every challenge is not just a threat, but an opportunity to ratify its status in the frozen world. In the distance, the frozen waters of northern Siberia lie motionless under the dying light of winter. Gigantic icebergs drift, majestic and lethal at the same time. Under that thick layer of ice, life continues, even in more extreme conditions than anywhere else on the planet. The seal is the symbol of resilience and an extraordinary capacity for adaptation. With its robust body, round eyes, and extremely sensitive whiskers, the seal perceives even the smallest movement underwater, but the most notable thing about them is their thick layer of fat that can reach 10 centimeters, functioning as a natural thermal insulator that keeps the body warm even when the water temperature is around 2 degrees below zero. An adult grey seal can measure up to 2.5 meters and weigh more than 300 kilograms, an impressive size for a marine mammal. However, this size is not an obstacle. On the contrary, its flexibility and agile movements turn its huge body into a formidable advantage for swimming and hunting. The grey seal spends most of its time exploring these frozen waters. It can dive up to 70 meters looking for its preferred foods such as fish, squid, and small marine organisms. They swim with amazing agility, reaching speeds of up to 25 kilometers per hour. However, the ocean is never a completely safe place. Under the icy water, they face constant dangers, including deadly encounters with orcas, the apex and brutal predators. But even with its incredible adaptation, the seal is not the owner of the world under the ice. They are the favorite prey of the polar bear, the most fearsome hunter of the Arctic. An adult seal emerges in a breathing hole in the ice. Every day, it needs to identify cracks or small holes in the thick layer of ice to breathe. A difficult task in an environment where sea ice is constantly changing. With instinct and sharp perception, the seal detects new cracks forming and quickly uses them as refuge. But in this world, any mistake can be paid for with life. Pursuits under the ocean are a display of pure tension. Faced with imminent death, the seal has only one option: to flee. Its opponent, the orca, is not an easy enemy to overcome. With a speed of up to 50 kilometers per hour and amazing intelligence, the orca dominates the ocean as a ruthless strategist. Safety is never really on the side of the grey seal. Orcas, those fearsome hunters, not only attack underwater but can also drag seals even when they're taking refuge on icebergs. An orca from the pack emits a signal, gathering its family to deploy a lethal hunting tactic. The block of ice the seal chose as a refuge seems solid, but for the masters of the ocean, it is just an ideal battlefield. With powerful tail strikes and perfect coordination, the orcas create waves under the iceberg, in an instant, the thick ice fragments into pieces. Without a firm foothold, the seal falls into the icy waters. That temporary boat could not protect it from its fate. Not all seals escape pursuit. It is precisely the severity of nature that molds the most resistant beings. The youngest seals, by learning to move with more agility and cunning, will continue diving under the thick ice in search of safer refuges. For indigenous peoples, the seal has long been a sacred gift from the Creator. They believe that these animals were created to preserve harmony and balance in the natural world, where each being has a unique purpose. In stories passed down for generations, every time a seal escapes the clutches of a predator, it is not just an act of survival, but a sign of divine compassion and protection toward all species. The iceberg, where they take refuge, is not just a resting place, but a symbol of hope even in the most difficult circumstances. In the distance, the sound of waves crashing against the shore blends with the clamor of seabirds spreading their wings. It is the pure beauty of the coast, where life not only fights fiercely, but also reveals the most impressive miracles of nature. And now, the most fearsome enemy of the seal has appeared. This time, luck is not exactly on its side. On the ice of the Kara Sea, near the Gulf of Obi in Siberia, a polar bear advances stealthily. With its thick white fur covering its entire body, it blends perfectly with the frozen landscape. But this stillness is only a mask that hides a terrifying force, the supreme predator of the Arctic. Let's explore a colossal creature that not only survives, but dominates in one of the most hostile environments on the planet. In the animal kingdom, the polar bear is considered the largest terrestrial predator. The adult male can measure up to 3 meters and weigh between 400 and 600 kilograms, and in exceptional cases can exceed 800 kilograms. That massive body is the perfect survival tool in the extreme conditions of the Arctic. An almost perfect design, as if it had been created by God himself to dominate the ice. Many think that the polar bear's hair is white, but in reality it is completely transparent. The hollow hairs reflect light, allowing them to camouflage perfectly with the surrounding snow. The polar bear's sense of smell is truly impressive. They can detect prey at a distance of up to 1.5 kilometers, even through a layer of ice of more than 1 meter thick. Thanks to this extraordinary smell, they easily track seals, their main source of food and energy. Imagine the polar bear's paws as natural snowshoes with a diameter of up to 30. They distribute weight and prevent the bear from sinking into thin ice. The pads are covered with small bumps that provide the necessary grip to move safely and agilely on slippery surfaces. Unlike other species of bears, the polar bear does not hibernate. Only pregnant females dig dens in the ice to prepare for birth and protect their cubs from extreme cold. During the 6 months of winter, these females do not ingest anything surviving solely on their fat reserves and producing nutrient-rich milk to feed their young. Meanwhile, adult bears face the winter as an unceasing battle to hunt, conserve energy, and survive. 2 days have passed since his last meal. Hunger begins to erode the polar bear's strength. Each day without food consumes the fat reserves vital for staying warm and on the move. A polar bear can lose up to 1 kilogram of body weight daily if it does not find food. In front of him, the vast frozen sea extends to the horizon. The breathing holes where seals emerge for air are his only opportunity. The polar bear stops. His sharp eyes scan the area. A seal has just appeared nearby, leaving a faint trace in the air. Without hesitation, the bear lowers his body, advancing with slow but precise steps toward his target. The success rate in hunting for the polar bear is only 10 to 15%, making each hunt a gamble between hunger and life. To avoid being betrayed by his body odor, the bear moves in a wide arc, always staying downwind. He gets closer and closer. Now he is right behind his prey. The sound of the struggle breaks the silence of the ice as the seal tries desperately to flee. But this time, it cannot escape the powerful jaws of the bear with a bite force of 1,200 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the bones of the largest prey. The polar bear drags the seal onto the ice and begins the feast. Although the seal is small, its layer of fat contains up to 100,000 calories, enough to feed the bear for a week. And in that time, it is likely that he will hunt another prey. The thick layer of fat of the seal, which represents up to 50% of its body, is the most valuable prize. In a single meal, a polar bear can consume up to 30 kilograms of meat, ensuring its survival for several days if it does not find new food. The Siberian winter is not for the weak. The polar bear, although it is the king of the ice, faces challenges. its territory is shrinking due to climate change, making hunting more than 95% of its diet depends on seals. However, to capture a prey, they must walk or swim dozens of kilometers daily. Sea ice. The basis of its existence is melting at an alarming rate, losing more than 13% of its surface per decade. This forces the polar bear to travel further, consuming even more energy. In the distance, in a natural ice den near the coast, a female rests in silence. Unlike the male, this female excavated a refuge at the beginning of winter under the thick ice. She's protecting two newborn cubs, small and still, without the insulating fat layer of their mother. During the 3 months of winter, the mother bear will not leave the den or eat anything. She lives on the fat accumulated since summer, losing up to 40% of her body weight while producing milk to raise her children. When spring arrives, the cubs will go out for the first time into the outside world. They will begin the process of learning to hunt and survive in the vastness of the Arctic ice. Unlike the polar bear, which does not hibernate and directly faces the extreme cold to hunt seals, the brown bear chooses a different strategy: to withdraw into a state of lethargy to conserve energy. The hibernation of the brown bear is not an absolute immobility. During this period, its heart rate decreases from 40 or 50 beats per minute to only 8, and its body temperature drops slightly to save resources. The most surprising thing is that the brown bear does not eat, drink, or excrete for months. It survives thanks to the fat accumulated in autumn, consuming between 30% and 40% of its body weight during the entire winter. Fleeing is the only option. These reindeer herds cannot coexist with the perpetual ice, and that is the reason behind the long patrols of the grey wolf pack. The sky of northern Siberia becomes gloomy. Gusts of icy wind blow through the bare taiga, dragging clouds of snow over the ground. A herd of nearly 1,000 reindeer advances, a river in motion in the middle of an ocean of white snow. Each reindeer walks cautiously. Their noses track the ground in search of lichens, the valuable food source hidden under the thick layer of snow. Winter has arrived, and with it, the cruel challenge of survival. Resources in the tundra have been exhausted, forcing the herd to abandon the northern lands. Now they head south toward the taiga, where the snow is less deep and they can still find lichens and other plants under the ice. The reindeer migration is not a short trip. The largest herds, such as that of the Taimyr Peninsula, travel more than 1,000 kilometers to find food. With each step, they face constant dangers: hunger, ice, and predators like the grey wolf. The reindeer march in formation, the calves and females in the center, protected by adult males on the outer flanks. But even with this protection, not all reindeer survive until the end of the trip. Each specimen weighs between 150 and 200 kilograms, with a thick double coat and large hooves designed to dig in the snow. However, these adaptations are not always sufficient in the face of greater challenges. In the heart of the frozen tundra, a young reindeer, small and weak, begins to fall behind. Its thin legs sink into the deep snow, turning each step into a battle against exhaustion. But the snow is not the only enemy. In the distance, penetrating eyes observe the herd. The grey wolf, the implacable hunter of Siberia, has followed their trail for hours. A howl breaks the stillness, tearing through the peaceful atmosphere. The reindeer herd is instantly agitated. The adult males rush to the rear to protect the group. But this chaos is precisely what the pack expected. The old reindeer and the calves become the main targets. A young reindeer struggles desperately to move forward, but each jump in the deep snow only slows it down more. In a few minutes, the wolves fall on it like a storm. The reindeer exhales its last breath, and the wolves quickly divide the booty, an essential source of food to resist the brutal cold. Despite losing a member, the herd does not stop. Snorts echo in the cold air as the males guide the group and continue south. They know that time is not on their side on this journey of more than 1,000 kilometers. The herd will continue to face new challenges. Nothing can stop their steps, but each advance is a reminder of the resilience and fragility of life. Even in the most extreme conditions, life persists. Under the cold Siberian moon, the reindeer rest in a sparse forest where the snow is less dense. The calves huddle against their mothers seeking heat, while the adults take turns in vigilance. The reindeer migration is an endless journey, a process of natural selection where only the strongest and most patient reach the destination. When the winter gives way to the first rays of spring, life begins to be reborn in Siberia. The ice melts gradually. The trees of the taiga, previously submerged in an icy silence, begin to sprout. Spring arrives slowly, like an unexpected visitor but loaded with the breath of life. The bird's song echoes in the quiet, announcing a new beginning. And this is also the moment when the hidden predators during the winter return to the natural stage. The mother polar bears and their cubs have remained in the den throughout the winter. After months of confinement underground, the mother slides down an ice slope, perhaps to clean her fur or simply for pure pleasure. For the first time, two small cubs open their eyes to a vast and brilliant outside world. Under their feet, the snow is still white, cold, and slippery. Overcoming the steep slope covered in ice is no easy task for their first steps. Hunger and the desire to be close to their mother drive them to move forward little by little. The path to maturity for these two bear cubs will last more than 2 years, a period in which they will learn all the skills necessary to survive in this implacable environment. The mother is an unceasing teacher. She will teach them to hunt, to swim in icy waters, and to protect themselves from danger. During this time, the mother will have to move constantly, walking hundreds of kilometers in search of food. Physical exhaustion cannot stop her, for the protective instinct is stronger than hunger. That sacred instinct seems to be the gift that the Creator has bestowed on all living beings. In reality, the mother bear has not eaten anything in 5 long months and has lost half of her body weight. The warm spring light brings some relief, but it also marks the beginning of a great concern. The rise in temperature means that the sea ice, the only place where she can hunt seals to feed her cubs, is melting rapidly. She must get there before the ice disappears completely. Nature comes to life with the appearance of the brown bear, or grizzly bear. Despite its smaller size, the brown bear is more aggressive than the polar bear, a species that usually chooses to retreat in many confrontations. In a deep ice cave on the edge of the taiga, where sunbeams rarely penetrate, a brown bear begins to move. With a massive body of between 250 and 350 kilos, it has not hunted all through the long winter. Now, with the thaw, the bear wakes up. Its body is weakened and hunger consumes it. It is then when the survival instinct shouts with more force. It needs food, and it needs it fast. The brown bear leaves its refuge. The snow under its feet begins to melt, leaving deep tracks in the wet ground. Its first destination after waking up are the rapids and dams where salmon congregate. This favorite delicacy is always its priority. The brown bear's menu is not limited to salmon. With an extremely developed sense of smell, 2,100 times sharper than the human one, it can detect food at a distance of up to 5 kilometers. Near a river fed by the thaw, a faint aroma floats in the air. The carcass of a reindeer buried in the snow during the winter has been uncovered. The bear advances immediately with increasingly firm and determined steps. Not far away, other remains begin to emerge with a thaw. It is an energy banquet. However, the brown bear is not the only one that has detected this food source. In the distance, a grey wolf pack also approaches. With a height of up to 3 meters when standing up and a jaw with a bite force of 975 pounds per square inch, the brown bear is the sovereign of the taiga. Its speed of 56 kilometers per hour makes it a threat even for adult deer or reindeer. Its sharp claws of up to 10 centimeters have enough force to tear a prey in an instant. A deep and thundering roar echoes in the air. The grey wolves understand that this confrontation is not worth the risk. The bear quickly devours the food, recovering the energy lost after months of fasting. The calorie-rich fat is what it needs to regain strength and prepare for the next days of hunting. When the bear has filled itself and leaves, vultures and crows will take advantage of the remains. It is the cycle of nature. The strongest takes the biggest part, but nothing is wasted. The Siberian spring wakes up, but the fight for survival never stops. Along the riverbanks, the bear cubs explore catching salmon for the first time. With obvious curiosity, they turn over small stones near the rapids looking for salmon eggs hidden under the sand. However, to survive the next winter, they must learn a more important skill: catching adult salmon in the middle of strong currents. This is the fundamental survival lesson that only the mother can teach them. Catching a salmon is not as simple as it seems. It requires precision, agility, and a lot of patience to capture these lightning-fast fish. But fishing is not the only danger that the mother and her cubs face. On the banks also stalk adult males, massive and fierce. These males, having no bond with the cubs, will not hesitate to kill them if they find them to protect their food source and their lineage. The mother carefully guides her cubs away from the open areas, taking refuge under the dense foliage of the trees. Salmon is not only essential for the bears, but connects the entire local ecosystem. Most brown bears only eat the belly and the eggs of the salmon. The rest is discarded. When the bear takes the fish to the forest, the remains enrich the soil, nourishing the trees and plants. In the vast and desolate tundras of Siberia, the icy winds whistle like the echo of an implacable nature, while a herd of muskoxen advances slowly. The temperature keeps dropping. With their majestic bearing and thick coat, the muskoxen look like living rock blocks moving over the white snow. They are a mobile fortress where the strength and unity of the group are the key to survival. The muskox is not an animal that flees. It survives thanks to its resistance and an extraordinary capacity for adaptation. Its coat, a masterpiece of nature, can measure up to 60 centimeters long, covering the body like a thermal coat that maintains heat even in the most extreme conditions. Under this long hair is the kiviut, a soft and warm wool 8 times superior to that of sheep. Combined with a thick layer of fat, the muskox's body is an impregnable fort against the cold. Even with heavy snowfall and icy winds, its coat repels moisture and snow, keeping them completely dry. In the herd, the calves are always the center of protection. Weighing only 10 to 15 kilograms at birth, they are easy targets for predators. But the group never abandons its most vulnerable members. When a grey wolf pack appears suddenly, the Muskoxen change their formation immediately. The adults, who can weigh up to 400 kilos and measure more than 1.5 meters in height, take position in a closed circle, protecting the calves and the weakest females in the center. Their curved and powerful horns become lethal weapons. The wolves begin to surround the group. The leader of the pack gives the signal, dividing the group into small teams to besiege the Muskoxen from multiple directions. The Muskoxen remain motionless, with firm legs in the snow and eyes fixed on the hunters. When a wolf tries to break the circle, an adult muskox bellows and points its sharp horns directly at the attacker. Patience is the wolf's best weapon. They surround the herd like ghosts looking for a weak point. And then an opportunity arises. A curious calf pokes its head out of the protective circle. It is the moment the wolves were waiting for. In the chaos, the calf becomes separated from the herd. It runs with all its might, with its small legs fighting against the deep snow. A giant figure approaches. It is an adult muskox, the calf's mother, who charges with force and determination. A charge from those giants can cause serious injuries to the wolves. A wolf howls in pain and retreats, accepting defeat in this hunt. It is impossible to beat such a strong group. A silent retreat is the safest option. The muskox herd reorganizes its formation, surrounding the calf that still trembles after the attack. The unity and strength of the group have helped them overcome another challenge in the battle to exist. At the end of winter, grass and lichens begin to sprout. The herd continues its trip in search of food. The Siberian spring not only brings the rebirth of life in the taiga and the frozen tundra, but also wakes up an intense vitality in the high mountains of the south. In the Altai region, where the altitude reaches 4,000 meters, a snow leopard advances stealthily among the sharp cliffs. Once again, a competitor appears for the grey wolf. But this is the territory of the snow leopard. The cold golden eyes of the snow leopard scan the valley that stretches below. The arrival of spring does not mean that life is easier. Although the snow on the slopes begins to melt, revealing dry vegetation, food sources remain scarce. However, the snow leopard with skills and instincts perfected over millennia, not only survives, but reigns in this hostile land. Among the majestic snowy peaks of Siberia, the wind whistles through the rocky cracks. This great cat, nicknamed the Ghost of the Mountains, not only stands out for its amazing capacity for camouflage, but also for its discreet and elusive lifestyle, which makes it extremely difficult to observe. With a body that measures between 1 and 1.2 meters and a thick, silky tail almost as long as its own torso, it is the perfect example of nature's adaptive design. Its tail not only provides a vital balance on steep slopes, but it also wraps it around its body to protect itself from the extreme cold. Its movements over the soft snow or slippery rocks are a real masterpiece. Its large legs and powerful musculature distribute the weight evenly, preventing it from sinking into the snow or losing traction in dangerous terrain. With spring, the Siberian mountains wear a new appearance. The thaw reveals patches of fresh grass on the high slopes, a time when its main prey, such as the Siberian ibex and the argali sheep, climb to the heights to feed. It is then when the leopard begins its race for survival in one of the most dangerous terrains on the planet. Silence is its most lethal weapon. At short distance, the cat has chosen the perfect place for its ambush. Without leaving a trace, it moves with calculated steps. When the distance is reduced to less than 30 meters, the leopard pounces. Its first jump exceeds 6 meters, bringing it lightning fast to its target. Its long tail acts as a rudder, maintaining perfect balance in the air. The pursuit lasts barely a minute, deciding the fate of 2 lives. In the last instant, the leopard launches a definitive attack, grasping the prey with a mortal bite. He drags his victim toward a secure crack to avoid scavengers like the golden eagle or the fox. An adult leopard needs between 1.5 and 2 kilograms of meat a day. A mountain goat can provide him with enough food for several days. However, he never exposes himself for long. After filling himself, he leaves the remains for other animals. The cycle of life and death continues in the Siberian heights while the sun sets behind the Altai mountain range. On the other hand, the Siberian taiga at the beginning of spring is a world full of mysteries. The snow starts to give way, but still covers the tops of the majestic pines. Under the soft surface, the soil starts to appear while hares, squirrels, and small rodents search for food frantically after the long winter. In the middle of this peaceful scene, a silent predator moves without making the slightest noise. The Siberian boreal lynx. In the gloom of the taiga, its fur acts as the perfect camouflage. Its dense coat of grey tones, with golden flashes and black spots, blends harmoniously with the remains of snow and dry trunks. An adult specimen measures about 70 centimeters in height, between 90 and 120 centimeters long, and weighs from 18 to 25 kilograms. But what makes the lynx truly extraordinary is not just its size, but its large legs covered with dense hair and with a very wide surface. These legs distribute its weight uniformly, allowing it to walk with lightness on the snow without sinking, as if it were wearing natural snowshoes. The lynx possesses one of the sharpest hearings in the animal kingdom. The characteristic black hair brushes on the tips of its ears help amplify sound, allowing it to detect tiny noises, such as the steps of a hare more than 50 meters away. It is the undisputed master of darkness and stillness. Its sharp eyes allow it to see clearly even in low light conditions. At dusk, when the light filters weakly between the pines, its hunt begins. A distracted hare digging for roots becomes its target. The lynx lowers its body. Its legs move with precision and patience. It approaches from the opposite direction to the wind to ensure its smell does not betray it. In a blink, the lynx pounces with a jump of more than 4 meters, catching the prey with a precise bite. The hare has no chance to escape. He takes his prey to a quiet corner of the forest to enjoy his feast. However, he does not let his guard down. He eats fast and retreats soon to avoid attracting the attention of larger predators like the grey wolf. When night falls, the lynx continues its journey. Although he is an expert hunter, only between 30% and 40% of his attempts end in success, which forces him to be extremely persistent. In the taiga, where each sound can be a sign of danger, his stealthy behavior is his greatest virtue. While the short summer spreads over the frozen lands of Siberia, not only the dry land wakes up, but also the Arctic Ocean. Under the deep blue surface, a colossal silhouette moves silently north. Despite being an excellent swimmer, this is no place for a tiger. It is the blue whale, Balænoptera musculus, the largest animal that has ever existed on Earth, making an epic migration in search of food to nourish its monumental body. An adult blue whale can reach 30 meters in length and weigh approximately 200 tons, which is equivalent to the weight of 33 African elephants together. Just its heart weighs 180 kilograms, being big enough for a child to crawl through its aorta artery. However, to maintain that giant organism, the blue whale requires a huge amount of food. In summer, it consumes an average of 4 tons of plankton a day, which is equivalent to about 40 million specimens of krill. For this reason, every year the blue whale travels thousands of kilometers from the warm southern seas to reach the nutrient-rich Arctic waters. Each spring, when the Arctic ice starts to melt. Cold ocean currents bring nutrients from the bottom, creating the ideal conditions for an explosion of microbiological life. This is the moment that the blue whale has waited for all through the long winter. From the temperate waters of the Pacific or the Indian Ocean, they start their journey north, covering between 10,000 and 12,000 kilometers, one of the longest migrations in the animal kingdom. During this route, they depend on marine currents and an extraordinary orientation capacity through sound waves. Their powerful and grave calls can be transmitted up to 1,600 kilometers underwater. When approaching the Kara Sea near Siberia, they find their banquet. Gigantic clouds of krill so dense that the water seems tinted a reddish orange. The whale dives and opens its colossal mouth, capable of holding up to 90 tons of water and food in a single mouthful. With its baleen of almost a meter long, it filters the water and retains millions of krills inside. Despite its power, the blue whale is vulnerable to climate change and overfishing that reduce plankton, threatening its survival. Land and sea, although they seem distinct worlds, are deeply connected by this life cycle. The Siberian summer reaches its zenith, and a magical spectacle unfolds in the Arctic sky. Thousands of snow geese fly in a V formation, flapping their wings rhythmically under the sunlight. Each year, these birds make an epic migration to Wrangel Island, a remote paradise in the Arctic Ocean where they reproduce. The trip is not simple. They depart from North America, overcoming more than 5,000 kilometers of challenges, crossing icy seas and snowfields. Wrangel Island offers them relative safety and abundant food sources in its marshy areas. They depend on the V formation to save energy. The leader creates a current that facilitates the flight of those behind, allowing them to fly up to 1,600 kilometers without rest. Before them, Wrangel Island reveals green meadows dotted with summer flowers. Surprisingly, even flamingos coming from the south congregate here, adding a note of pink color to this Arctic paradise. The geese quickly choose the place to nest, but danger stalks, their biggest enemy, the Arctic fox, is already waiting. With its white fur, the fox is the main egg thief, sliding among the bushes to steal vital nutrients. Near the coast, the flamingos perform their elegant dance, filtering plankton in shallow waters. However, summer also brings with it an unexpected threat. Massive swarms of insects, mosquitoes, and horseflies that make life unbearable in the low plains for the reindeer herds. The summer stillness is transformed into a battle against tiny but untiring enemies. In a valley near the Lena River, a herd of more than 200 reindeer fights against these invaders, shaking tails and ears, and even running in circles to escape the harassment. there is only one way out: climb to higher lands where the cold and wind prevent the presence of insects. The adult males lead the climb through rocky slopes and thaw streams. It is a dangerous trip, especially for the calves. At the end of the line, a small reindeer stumbles on its thin legs. It is its first time facing the steep terrain. But the challenges are not just geographical. This is the territory of the grey wolf. Together with the reindeer, moose and muskoxen must remain on high alert against this fearsome predator. When the ephemeral summer of Siberia starts to fade, a sense of urgency envelops the taiga. The icy wind brings with it the first signs of winter. The leaves of the trees are tinted in vibrant yellow and orange tones. But the stillness of the landscape is just a veil that hides a fierce race for survival. It is a familiar warning in the laws of existence dictated by the Creator. In a clearing at the edge of the forest, a herd of Siberian deer feeds with dedication. Autumn brings them an abundant banquet of ripe berries and the last fresh pastures under their hooves. The deer eat hastily, accumulating all possible energy. Each day, an adult deer must consume between 4 and 6 kilograms of food, concentrating on energy fruits like blueberries and raspberries. The fat layer accumulated in their bodies will be the vital resource when the implacable winter attacks. But life in Siberia is never simple. These fleeting banquets always come accompanied by danger. The Siberian taiga, the grey wolf, and the snow leopard closely observe their prey. The deer herd detects the danger immediately. The adult males, with their majestic antlers, lead the march and guide the group in the flight. The calves, with their still weak legs, run after their mothers in the middle of the chaos. Before facing the winter, nature sends a challenge, a ruthless selection where only the strongest and fittest will survive to witness the next chapter. After escaping the pursuit, the deer find refuge in an area of sparse forest where they can rest and continue feeding. The survival lesson is recorded in the mind of each member. Every second of carelessness can be the last. And when the first snowflakes start to fall, they know that the atrocious winter is near. The golden days of autumn are just the prelude to the endless cycle of struggle in the Siberian taiga. In the gloom of the forest, a long and deep howl breaks the quiet of the afternoon. It is the signal of the alpha wolf, a familiar but terrifying sound for the weakest links of the ecosystem. The grey wolf pack, composed of 12 members, is ready for a big hunt. Winter approaches and the time to accumulate energy runs out. To survive the inclement months, they need more than small prey like hares or rodents. This time, their objective is a muskox, their most formidable opponent. An adult wolf can ingest up to 9 kilograms of meat in a single sitting to reserve energy. But the banquet never lasts long. The trace of the prey attracts other scavengers like crows, eagles, and even the brown bear. The pack must go deeper into the forest to secure its reserves. Winter will have no mercy, but thanks to its cohesion and instinct, the pack is ready to face the toughest challenges of nature. The water splashes against the rapids of a river fed by the thaw. On its banks, a brown bear with soaked fur concentrates all its attention on the salmon. He must take advantage of every opportunity. There are only a few weeks left before temperatures fall below 40 degrees below zero, freezing the rivers and turning them into mortal ice strips. To survive the 5 months of hibernation, he needs to increase his body weight by between 20% and 30%. A mother bear faces even greater pressure. She must secure milk production to feed her fragile cubs during the long lethargy. The polar bear also rushes. The icy northern waters have pushed the last salmon south, where the taiga meets the lowlands. Although it is not his usual food, the polar bear takes the occasion. Different species, same objective: overcoming the devastating winter. In the depth of the forest, the sun sets slowly. It is not a time for rest. Every night is a battle to store food. The Siberian owl, a specialist in night hunting, starts its day. Field mice dig cautiously in the snow looking for roots. But the owl possesses an extraordinary advantage. Its asymmetric ears allow it to locate prey with exact precision, even without seeing it. With a wingspan of more than 1.5 meters, it glides in absolute silence thanks to its specialized feathers. A certain attack and its claws catch the rodent in an instant. It must hunt 5 to 7 mice daily to accumulate reserves. Instead of ingesting them immediately, it uses an intelligent tactic. He takes his prey to a hole in a tree and hides it under the bark or the snow. These treasures will be vital during storms. However, he is not alone. Golden eagles and foxes constantly stalk his provisions, adding another layer of challenge to his night struggle. The night in Siberia is long and icy. Life and death intertwine in an infinite cycle. Winter has arrived, and the battle to exist officially starts under a blanket of white snow. In this atrocious environment, survivors face two brutal enemies: a changing climate and human greed. Winter is no longer the same as before. The millenary permafrost is melting at an alarming speed. The temperature in Siberia has increased an average of 3 degrees in the last 50 years, twice the global average. On the fragile ice, a polar bear advances with caution. The seals, its main food, have decreased. He must walk up to 30 kilometers daily just to find a breathing hole in the ice. In just 2 decades, the polar bear population has fallen 40%. In another corner, the taiga, the green lung of the planet, disappears before the expansion of oil wells and gas mines. The roar of the machines silences life, leaving barren lands in its path. The Siberian taiga travels through what was previously its forest, now fragmented by dusty roads. With its habitat reduced by 30%, only about 500 specimens remain in the wild. The roar that previously dominated the forest is today a weak lament before the human invasion. It is an incalculable tragedy. In the black market, skins, tusks, and hides of rare species are trafficked. The price of a wolf skin reaches thousands of dollars. Hundreds of muskoxen are hunted for their horns, and unprotected calves are easy targets. Each year, more than 10,000 animals are trafficked illegally, pushing many species into the abyss. Under grey skies, the reindeer herds struggle to cross lands transformed by mining. Their ancestral routes are cut by modern infrastructures. In 20 years, their population has fallen from 5 million to a little more than 3 million. Siberia is today the stage where humanity and nature collide. Climate change and human intrusion do not just destroy ecosystems, but threaten to turn the stories of the taiga and the polar bear into sad legends of a lost world. However, conservation efforts advance in silence in a race against time. Siberia is also the place where man seeks to reconcile with nature. In the Russian Far East, the Krenotsky Reserve, with its 11,000 square kilometers, is a bastion of hope. There, Siberian tigers have shown a notable recovery. From barely 30 individuals in the mid-20th century, today they exceed 120 specimens. Many carry the scars of their fight against poaching. Further north, Wrangel Island serves as a refuge for more than 6,000 reindeer in their epic migration. Despite the attacks of Arctic foxes, conservationists have implemented measures that have raised the survival of calves to 70%. In the northern seas, although glaciers recede, hope persists thanks to the WWF Russia Polar Bear Conservation Project. The creation of the Sea Ice Protection Area in Novaya Zemlya, with more than 80,000 square kilometers, allows bears to hunt and reproduce without human interference. This helps stabilize the population at more than 100 individuals registered in 2023. In the middle of these challenges, humanity finds inspiration in faith. Conserving Siberia is a scientific duty and a sacred obligation. Siberia, with all its wild beauty and extreme rigor, still has much to offer and protect. The new reserves and human perseverance will continue writing the story of this amazing survival. Let's act, because time does not wait. Our exploration does not end here. We invite you to join our mission. Share your feelings in the comments. Your words can inspire others to save our ecosystems. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. The trip continues. In other corners of the planet, the battles for life are just as intense. Join us to discover wild Amazon, where mystical creatures hide in the deep forest, and Patagonia, the land of the end of the world where only the strongest prevail. Click on the following video and keep entering the amazing wild world that awaits you.